Welcome back to the Loss Prevention News Network. I'm Joe LaRocca. We're here at the National Retail Federation's Protect Conference just outside of Dallas, Texas. Last week, the National Retail Security Survey's results were released and showed that retailers lost an estimated $46 billion nationwide. In addition to the retail losses, we also talked a little bit about active shooter programs and looked at the safety challenges and cybersecurity threats that are combating retailers around the country. My next guest is Jim Geyer, who's the VP of Sales with Stanley Security. Jim, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, Joe. Appreciate it.
Now, Jim, you're uniquely qualified to talk about all three of those areas, so if we're going to dive into them. But to start out, can you tell us a little bit about Stanley Security? What's the company all about?
Sure. So obviously everybody knows Stanley Black & Decker. Everyone has a tool or a tape measure in their toolbox at home from Stanley. But we also have a security division as well, which Convergent Security Solutions is part of. So essentially, we provide everything for retailers, from intrusion alarms to fire alarms, and we monitor those all from our central station up in Plymouth, Minnesota.
Nice. So same Stanley,
yes.
Different tool. Just this
different
tool is the security side of
Yep.
the business. We love that. Now, you're here at the National Retail Federation Protect Conference. You have a big presence. Thank you for sponsoring the event today here, but also a big presence down on the expo floor. Mm-hmm. And you're talking with retail leaders. You're showing off the latest technology. What are some of the highlights you have in your booth today? Yeah,
so some of the highlights are some of the new solutions that we're offering. A key one right now is IntelAssure, is one of our newest. That's a software that sits on a private security server and essentially detects anomalies in the system for access control or IP video. So the Internet of Things, things that reside on your network, is a cyber hygiene tool. So essentially, when there is one of those anomalies that does happen, whether a camera's failing or an NVR is failing, it does send back an alert to whoever the system administrator is, the director of loss prevention.
So they see that there's a challenge, and then you're in a position then to go out and help them work through the service problem?
Yes.
Now, as we look at some of the other challenges in the industry, one of them I mentioned was active shooters. And, you know, schools, stores, shopping centers, any public place could be the victim of one of these incidents. And the video and access control are certainly forefront in the security prevention methods. But I also understand that Stanley is very interested in this topic and may have some solutions to help retailers.
We sure do. So Shooter Detection Systems is who we partner with, and they're one of the best in the industry, one of the quickest detection devices done through audio and a flash, infrared flash detection. So when a weapon is shut off, and as you know and everyone knows, that when something like that happens, an event, the quicker the response, the better we're going to be able to subdue the situation. What's nice about it, it also ties in, integrates with their access control systems, any kind of intrusion systems they may have, or a mass notification as well, which is the most important thing to get the message out there as quick as possible.
That's fantastic. And what, from a retail implementation, what goes into a store or into a shopping center? Is it a box?
Sure, it's essentially a device that is mounted within the facility that is a detection device that detects the sound of a gunshot or the infrared flash. So what essentially then happens, it does reports back and go to a central station where we then dispatch the police, much like a silent arrest, so it just happens immediately. Or it can tie into their access control system or any type of other electronic locking system where it can lock down the doors based on the event. So essentially it's not advance notice, but it is the quickest form of notice that we can get.
Right, and then it sounds like you can, if this then that, start triggering off other devices within the store.
That's exactly right.
Now, Jim, we employ 1/4 of the U.S. population in retail, so we certainly have a large number of people, community members, friends and family that work in the business. So these topics are all very important. And I understand that one of the things Stanley has developed is a way to actually look at personal safety.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, that would be our Stanley Guard product. Essentially, it's an app that's on your mobile device. Doesn't matter, it can be iOS or it can be Android. And essentially what the app does is when activated, the personal device can respond one or two ways. When you shake the phone, the device, as long as you have internet or you have just connectivity on your phone, it will then send an alert to a central station or to your security operations center. From that point, you're able to talk back and forth with the person as they're going through the event. And from there, you can take a video, you can cancel the alert if it's just, oh, I got scared and nothing ever happened, but we do confirm those things. What Stanley is also doing is offering it a pay-as-you-go option now. So yeah, so it's nice. So even if you have a child that you want to give that to use, you can do that. And it's a month-to-month subscription. But again, a lot of our customers are looking at for their employee safety, walking out into an empty parking lot at night after they close a facility, that type of thing.
Right, right. Especially with the after closing
Correct.
robberies and looking at potential burglary suspects that might be there, you get concerned.
Yes.
And platform-wise, does it work on Android and Apple? And
Yes, sir. Yep,
Okay.
sure does. Sure
Nice.
does.
So another question for you in the business sense. Pull this all together for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So loss prevention professionals, we're in the business of improving profitability and efficiency within the store, working oftentimes with C-level executives, IT partners, and integrators and business solution providers. What does Stanley, how does Stanley help the loss prevention or asset protection professional inside retail achieve those goals of making the company more profitable?
Sure, sure. So that would be our Stanley Insights retail solution. So essentially we have a team of data scientists that what they do is they're taking data analytics from the point of sale and video analytics, and they're quantifying that information to provide loss prevention with loss prevention analytics and also marketing analytics. So it's not just for security, their marketing group can do it as well. They can do it through people counting, cash register theft, all those point of sale devices that are out there. We can extract that data, quantify it for them, put it in a dashboard setting. So when we look at these systems, we're always told about the benefits of what they can provide. We have the team of people that can pull that data out and put it together for somebody to take up and say, hey, this is how we're going to save money.
That's great. And are you finding that retailers, well, specifically, are you finding loss prevention people have the ability to go into the real estate, the operations folks, and talk with them intelligently about conversion rates and traffic counting, and even looking at store floor sets and making sure that the visuals are put together properly? Is that part of the training that you're talking about?
Yeah, so what they're essentially doing, there's an initial part to the insights where we go in, and essentially we're doing our due diligence. We're pulling out what their needs are to see from the system and how we can put that together and what's best suited for each client, because not every client's going to be the same. And they're essentially going and saying, this is what we paid for, this is what we bought. Now we have the knowledge and the information that we spent all this money on. How do we then go and plan our next 3 to 5 years with this? And it really, those budget conversations where they're showing you, I'm saving this money on our shrink by incorporating analytics.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and here's how I'm going to drive revenue and
Exactly.
reduce potential losses
Most
and
important
safety incidents too, which aren't necessarily anything to do with shrink, but they are a
Right.
bottom line challenge.
True.
Now, Jim, fast forward, let's look at the future a little bit, because clearly Stanley is invested in the future of the business and the customers. Where are we headed 2 or 3 years from now? What's on your radar in terms of an R&D? We're talking, there's some talk about facial recognition. There's talk
Sure.
about, new systems coming into place, the shop and go, if you will, or direct deliveries. What role is Stanley playing to help customers in that respect?
The facial recognition, those type of things, looking at artificial intelligence more and more as a way for us to be more efficient for our clients. As they're calling in to put in a service call, maybe it's something that we do look at as something that we're responding there. It might be an automated system, but has the artificial intelligence to pick up keywords, to be able to respond correctly, get them to the right place. As far as our service as a whole, what we've been doing is trying to look at different technologies. So if we have a technician who may be at a site and there's something that he's stuck on, that they can work with other technicians to get it done in a quick manner for the client. So it's not only technology, but it's how we can do business better for our client as well as what we're looking for.
That's great. It's almost like you're crowd sourcing the repair real time for people inside the store.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure some people, you're clearly very knowledgeable about this.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about your background. How long have you been with the company? What's some of your background?
So I've been in the industry about 22 years now. My background has been a lot on the integration side. I've been more on the retail side since joining Stanley in 2012, about 6 years ago. And I've learned a tremendous amount about the retail side. It's been very interesting for me because I had done the integration piece, for so long, and then moving into the retail space, how much more of a need sometimes there is, because you're not only protecting your products, you're protecting people that are in your locations, your stores, as well as the employees. So it's been very interesting. It's enlightening. Yeah,
I bet. Welcome to retail.
Yeah.
And drink out of the fire hose now.
Yeah.
Here you are. Now, Stanley's a huge company, and I'm sure you've got a big infrastructure. People are probably asking the question, how do I get into a team like Stanley? What are the types of job opportunities that might exist for people in retail that want to make a transition similar to you, that want to come work for the company? How would you suggest people, what background do you look for, and maybe what are some of the attributes and training that people might want to invest in?
And we do look for those type of people, right? Because they understand the business and they understand the pain points of the business, and it helps us when we have people who are knowledgeable about the retail side of things and how we can better suit them. We look a lot for if it's account management. Working with resources that they've worked with before and helping bring those things into Stanley that we may not know about and learn from them, from their experience working on the retail side. And then on the technology side, it's not just that, it's also project management and program management. Program management is more of kind of the liaison between our sales and our operations team. They're the people that are helping to drive any type of expectation our client has. Because we hear things, and sometimes it's always good to have that stopgap in between. That's going to make sure we do that. And then, of course, program management. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's how we deliver to our clients.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, where you said you're based in Minnesota?
So Stanley Black & Decker Security is based in Fishers, Indiana.
Fishers, Indiana.
That's where our security group is, and the security group is made up of CSS, electronic security, which I'm part of, healthcare, so hugs, infant protection. And then we also have our Stanley Access Technology Group, doors, sliding doors, gates, things like that.
Fantastic. And then from a distribution standpoint, what other offices do you have around the country?
So we have roughly 52 offices around the country, brick and mortar. And, obviously we are in the major markets. There's some dead spots out there, so to speak, but we cover those through our partner network. So it's worked very well for us on our delivery for installation and service. But basically we cover the major markets across the U.S. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, Jim, we're going to need to leave the conversation right there.
Appreciate it.
I want to thank you so much for spending time with us today, sponsoring today's event, and just for being here at the NRF. It's great to see Stanley out in the business consumer, not just the consumer side, but also the commercial side as well. So thanks for being here.
Thank you much,
This is Jim Geyer, who's the VP of Sales with Stanley Convergent Systems. Thanks again for being here. Stay tuned to the Loss Prevention News Network, your #1 source of LP news and information.